I also acknowledge that I'm Kurdish. I acknowledge that I'm Arabi from Bilad al-Sham. But I'm Arabi. The language I speak is Arabi. The language I read in is Arabi. I'm happen to be Muslim. So when I pray in Arabi. The Quran that I read is in Arabi. So why would I not choose to be Arabi?
You are now listening to the Arab is Me podcast.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Thank you so much for tuning into the Arab is Me podcast. As you can see, we have a very, 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 very special guest, mashallah. Today we have our brother Omar Kurdi. And I'm saying Omar because I don't want to say Omar. It's Omar Kurdi. Welcome to the show, Omar.
Thank you, Habibi. Thank you. Actually, well, I'm boycotting Starbucks now, but my Starbucks name was Patrick for the longest time. So I'm glad to be Omar today.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Yeah, my former Starbucks name was it was like this dysfunctional past tense of say, which was S-A-Y-E-D, Said, like I said it yesterday. Mm-hmm. But I'm not a coffee guy, so I only had to experience that once or twice. So I'm really happy to have Omar here with us. Let me tell you a little bit about Omar. I should be done Omar's bio in the next 12 to 14 days. So if everybody can just be patient with us, because I know Ramadan is coming around the corner. I want to try to finish before all of you start Taraweeh. Because mashallah, the guy, he has a lot of hats he wears because he's doing a lot of amazing things. Obviously, you've been all around the world, which I have some questions coming up later on how there's a lot of these big city names and then Cleveland. No disrespect to Cleveland, it just feels like maybe somebody lost a bet or something. But alhamdulillah, we'll get to that. So Omar, actually, he's the current CEO of an organization called Friends for Life Rehabilitation Services. We'll talk about a little bit. He is co-founder and former president of Arab Americans of Cleveland Young Professionals Network, which I know, as somebody who's worked in young professional networks before, is a lot of work, mashallah. He is the former director of development at the Arab America Foundations. He's also a poet. He's also an actor. He's also a founding member of Cleveland's first Arabic theater company. He's a recipient of multiple leadership awards, including Crane's 40 Under 40 list. He's also a published author of 2 poetry collections. I know he's currently even writing a novel because he was bored, mashallah. He was running out of things to do, and he thought, why not do a novel where most of us would take on like a yoga class? His brother's deciding to write a novel, mashallah. So now that the bio is done, I have to go shave real quick again because my it's starting to grow back. But all jokes aside, I love Omar for this aspect because this is kind of what the Arab is Me podcast is all about. It's not just to bring people on so we can kind of read bios, but to bring people on so they can learn about what hustle looks like, and so we can understand each other. This is not just for people outside of the Arab community to somehow come and discover us and give us their stamp of approval. No, this is for us to learn about other people. So kudos to you, Omar, because that everything I just read there, I could have read even more and you would have deserved it because mashallah, you work very hard. So I appreciate you being on the show, and there's so much to talk about. So it makes it easy.
Thank you. I wish my mom could listen to this because all of what you read doesn't matter. I'm still single.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to mention this, but as part of the fundraising activity I like to do within the podcast, if anybody's interested in Omar, we will start at $500. Please just write it in the comments. $500 only gets you a phone call. 1,000 can get you a Zoom without video, and it will go up from there. So we'll post that at the end of the show, inshallah. But don't worry, we're making dua for you. So may Allah bring to you what is meant for you.
Inshallah, ya Rabbi.
So Omar, all kind of jokes aside, you have been working on a lot of things. Even recently, you created a jinx for the Jordanian soccer team. Apparently, you created a video that caused them to lose.
Mhm.
No, but
Yeah,
I
that,
saw a million. I looked on the thing. I said 1 million views in 2 weeks. Like
alhamdulillah.
this is mashallah a huge deal. I need to hear about this.
Um, this is why I'm wearing this jersey, honey. I'm trying to like make up for all of it. Well, I'm a Jordanian American with a lot of heritage and roots to multiple countries in the Sham area. But when Jordan qualified to the World Cup, obviously we were all excited. Also, the only Shami representative out of the other Arab countries. So back in September, the producer that I work with in Jordan, Khalid Mustafa, told me we should make a song for the World Cup. So I began writing this song and developing it with him over WhatsApp, because obviously I live here, I'm not in Jordan often. And then went to Jordan in January and recorded the song. Had no plan to even make a music video. My money was set aside for another music video, for another song. And as I was talking with the director of the music video, I was like, hey, listen to this, I just made it. He was like, Omar, we have to do a video. I was like, well, I don't know how much money I have to budget. He was like, no, we'll make something authentic and just something basic, but
Sure.
sort of similar to the soul of the song. And that was a Tuesday. And we began like shooting the video on Friday. And it was the craziest like 3-day hustle of getting the extras, getting a location, getting the wardrobe, and remastering the song so like it's ready to be used in a music video. And it made me appreciate the industry. Like, look, I'm not professional. Like, this is a hobby that I'm just having fun with. Like, I've worked for a lot of years and saved up money and just dumped all of my wedding money into music because I love it, and it kind of just makes me feel alive. But it made me appreciate the industry. It made me appreciate the cameramen, the people with lighting, gaffers, all of it. And it sort of solidified this World Cup experience for me. Not only did I experience watching Jordan qualify, but I also sort of presented this gift from me and the music producer and the director and all of it, because it was self-funded. I didn't have like this big company coming like, Omar Ta'ad, we're gonna have you do a song and like give me $2 million. No, it was self-funded, made with a lot of love, and to reach 1 million views. And like, I'm just a kid from Amman. Like I warned my friends that I'm going to change. I warned them. I'm noticing these changes a little bit now. I'm wearing like these glasses and like I'm hiring a virtual assistant because of, like AI. To but like in all honesty, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I'm able to do what I love.
Yeah. So this was the ultimate like Tawakkal ala Allah project. Which for me, like, I'm gonna be very clear. Like I sometimes takes a couple days to kind of get around to like do the laundry. I mean, to mashallah, in the same amount of time, you created a music video, and created all of this and had it all done. By the time I was done reaching the sock at the back of the dryer that I never want to get to. I'm sure my wife is going to be in the comments saying, I know. But yeah, mashallah, that's amazing. Now, I had told people at one point, I just want to put it on record that since Mamdani came in, the Knicks only lost one playoff game, and it was when Trump was in the building. But since you made the video, there haven't been a lot of victories, for Jordan in the World Cup. So, is there a fear when you return to Amman that this could be held against you, or?
No, I only fear my mom and my amtos. They're my biggest fears. We might have not won on the pitch, but
Yeah.
I think these social media images that we've seen from the celebrations and the watch parties at the Roman Theater, and I mean them leaving the locker room clean and all of that. Those are
Oh yeah.
victories. Watching people holding all these Arabi flags at the game. I mean, people didn't expect. There were comments about like who's gonna fill an Algeria and Jordan game, and like to actually have 68,000 Arabs in a stadium.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful, and I think winning is subjective,
Yeah.
and I think I'm not afraid. I mean, if I get questioned at the airport, I'm like, "Adi ahla wa sahla." Like, the Jordanian frown I'm used to,
Yeah.
and I love it. But yeah, no, I'm mostly afraid of my mom and my ammat.
Yeah, there should be nothing to be afraid of. I actually love the song, and Taman, I'm giving you a hard time just because
No, you got it.
my dad he grew up in Amman, so I have a lot of family in Amman. Every time, but I used to always spend most of my time. I wish I could say the masjid, but I spend most of my time for that street they call Shara Janin. Where
Oh
they
yeah,
have,
Shara al Madina. Yeah.
yeah, Shara and Medina. Yeah, so I used to spend, which was ironic because I would do work in the refugee camps, and then like I would go to that Shara at night, and it was this very weird, unfortunate dual personality, I guess, that I had. But are you one of the people who feel like Amman is like the ultimate food destination right now in the Arab world, or do you feel there's better?
Having been to several Arab countries, I haven't been
Yeah.
to all of them. I might sound a little biased, but I think Amman has some of the best restaurants I've ever been to.
Right.
I'm gonna sound crazy, but I've had better Mexican food in Jordan. I've had better Chinese food in Jordan. My favorite
Yeah.
sushi in Jordan. I'm not even
Yeah.
talking about our cuisine. Like there's something about the food there and the nafas and
Yeah.
and that I feel is like very significant, and not to disrespect. I think the food when I went to Lebanon, the food was amazing. In Dubai, the food was great. Saudi Arabia, all of it. Egypt, but like there's something about the industry in Jordan that is very
Yeah.
unique, and it's very underrated.
Yeah.
Even till today, I think it's very underrated. The restaurants in Jordan are amazing. Shawarma for me, the best shawarma is in Jordan.
Yeah.
And I if someone wants to fight me, I will start a GoFundMe to take you to have shawarma in Jordan.
Yeah.
So you can actually try it. But yeah, I
So
think
hold on, you're saying if I fight you, you're gonna take me to Amman free of charge? Is that what you said?
if you fight me against استنى علي شوي. I said GoFundMe first, so I'm not taking you هيك ببلاش. Second, you have to agree that show like your favorite shawarma is not Jordanian. If your favorite shawarma is not Jordanian, then I'll take you to Amman.
So, if not to spend too much time talking about this, but for those people who listen to the podcast and are like, Saeed tends to talk about food. Well, that's kind of funny because Saeed told you about food 15, 20 years ago on stage and you made a joke. And now when people are taking our falafel and calling
Yep.
it theirs, taking our hummus, taking our shawarma, taking even our salatat. I heard recently cucumber, tomato, ibsar shu is called Israeli salad. Mashallah alaykum.
Well, they want to take أخذوا المنسف.
Yeah, عم بياخدوا المنسف عم بياخدوا كل شيء. Like it's to me it's not a surprise. Like
Yeah.
people, they only steal and hate up. They don't steal and hate down. So
100%.
they clearly know where we're at. But I look at this like this is a very important thing. Like so many of our parents and our grandparents and our whole bloodlines, Ekin is their love language. Food is their love language. This is how they tell stories. This is how they speak about it. You talk to my mom, she will tell you about Allah yarhamha, her sister for Gaza, and how she used to, like, my mom, by the way, a lot of people consider my mom to be like one of the top, I wear her resume, I'll just leave it at that, right? One of the top cooks. But I will say this, my mom wasn't the best cook in her family. right? She wasn't the best cook in her family. There were people in her family that could cook better than she did, and so hearing her talk through those stories are important. And so what I tell people about Amman, in case anybody wants to come at Omar in the comments, you have to look at it for averages, right? I'm certain somewhere in the United States, maybe Cleveland, maybe Dearborn, maybe Chicago, you've had a shawarma that you think is better than all the shawarma in the Arab world. I'm sure there's a chance that might even be true. But when you look at averages with all of the Iraqi people, Suri people, Palestinian people, Urdani people from Yemen, all the people who flood into Amman, it's not a surprise if Amman ends up on average with some of the best food and restaurants, not taking anything away from the original Jordanians. And I know we're going to get into a Mensaf conversation, and I don't want to go there on where Mensaf started and Bedouins and Hashemite and Ibsarshu.
So it ends up in one spot.
It all, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. So that's why I think on average, I believe you, and I believe what you're saying to be correct, because it's amazing. And I also find that specifically a lot of the restaurants and places that you go in Amman, you said it before, there's this nefes, there's this pride, it's just something special about a lot of the people that are behind the scenes in those kitchens that come out, and it's not work to them. For a lot of them, it's this joy on having you try these these flavors. And Omar, I will tell you, if I can, just a quick name drop and tell you just a quick story before we kind of move on. I was in Amman with Mohammed Assaf, and we were in his hotel room, and we're just hanging out and whatever. And me, him, and a few of his friends. And so he tells me, he's like, "Oh, there's this restaurant. I'm not going to name names because it'll start a war. There's a restaurant that he loves." And I said, "Okay, but Muhammad, all due respect, like Saeed Durrah can walk into any restaurant. I'm not no problem. But like, if staff gonna walk in, like, isn't it gonna be a problem? Because I know you don't like people hovering over you while you eat." And he goes, "Yeah, but don't worry, Saeed, we're gonna have this restaurant." And I said, "Okay, well, when do we leave?" He goes, "Ish yani." And I was like, "You just said رح ناكل من مطعم so and so." "Oh, جايبين delivery." He goes, "La la la, جايبين المطعم." And I was like, maybe my Arabic isn't جايبين المطعم. You're bringing the شو يعني? And Omar, suddenly after about 20 minutes, the door of his room opens up. He says salam to a guy. Suddenly 6 or 7 staff from this restaurant come in. They put al-tawla, tablecloth, and they put everything. He decided he wants to eat on the floor, like old school style. They put all of this stuff on the floor. They put plates. The wait staff is there. The chef is there serving. I was like, is this like normal? And they were like, la, ashan asab. I was like, so you're saying when I come next time, I can't have this in-room restaurant experience? They're like, no, that's.
I mean, if you pay for it.
Yeah, right. So they shut down the restaurant and they came basically and they did the restaurant in the thing. And so I don't know, maybe you and I have to just work a little bit harder if we're not at that level yet. But
yeah, I won't get it after the World Cup song for sure.
Inshallah, you get even better treatment. They should shut down restaurants for you as well. But yeah, I just wanted to share that quick story of it was humbling because I thought I was a foodie, but to combine not going out and getting the restaurant in your room is something I never thought was possible. This, mashallah, Amman made it happen. But going back to a little bit about yourself and kind of where you're at and a lot of the different hats that you wear. I want to ask you, quite honestly, about Cleveland, because number one, I feel like Cleveland is underrated in terms of when people describe, major cities in that area or Midwest or whatever. Cleveland isn't always name dropped among like
Mm-mm,
these thriving Arab American communities. And so I
mm-mm,
wanted to ask you, A, how'd you end up there? And
mm.
B, what is it that we don't know about the Arab American scene in Cleveland?
Absolutely. I ended up in Cleveland in '07. I'm going to give you a little background.
Sure.
So I was born in California, 1990. My dad was working in Muscat, Oman at that time. So my mom had me here, and then we flew back to Oman in '91 because of the Gulf War. So airspace and whatever. Um, my parents divorced. My dad came to the US in 2002, started in Michigan, ended up in Cleveland in '07. He had an open heart surgery. I'm giving you like the short summary. Me and my mom came to check on him. My plan was to go study in Lebanon because I wanted to become an artist. So I was like, I'm gonna go to this like the Paris of the East, which and study there and like find my way through music there. But no, my mom and my dad, after all these disagreements, came to an agreement that the oldest boy cannot become an artist and go study in Lebanon. You are moving to America.
Yeah.
So I they finished their little convention, called me back, and I was like, Omar, you're coming to America. Mind you, senior year of high school. I've been with my friends for 9 years. Yeah, went back to Amman, packed, left, came to Cleveland, and I've been here since '07. And it is a thriving city, very underrated. We have an incredible food scene. And it's not, our food scene is not incredible because of the fancy restaurants. It's literally those like small business owners who have like literally poured a lot of their heart into the food they make, which kind of like resonates with my Amman experience too. We have all these like big restaurants and chains and whatever, but like the food that I enjoy in Amman is like literally these small restaurants that are owned by like people that look like me and like and do a lot of the things that I like to do. So Cleveland is definitely a thriving city with a thriving Arab American community too. We might not be as condensed and as dense as Dearborn or maybe Bridgeview in Chicago, which makes it a little easier there because like the majority of the Arab in Dearborn are Lebanese, but now with a very growing Yemeni community, a decent Palestinian communities, Jordanian as well. In Bridgeview, I think the majority are between Palestinian and Jordanian. But Cleveland is very diverse when we talk about Arabic communities because Cleveland is also one of the top welcoming cities for refugees. So we have a decent Syrian community, Sudanese, Lebanese that go as far as third and fourth generation. Same with Syrian Americans as well. And then one of the largest concentrations of Palestinians in the U.S. here. So we did in Arab Americans of Cleveland, the nonprofit that I helped start about a year ago. We got a grant and we ran a community needs assessment, and we tried to do sort of a survey and a count of how many Arab Americans are in Northeast Ohio, and this is just Northeast Ohio, so Greater Cleveland. The safer estimate is about 60 to 70,000 based on numbers from like the past elections and then some of the survey data that we found. But I think we're more than that. I mean, speaking on just the Muslim community, there's 28 mosques in
Wow.
Northeast Ohio alone. So, and that's not to count all the Arab Christians that live here. There are some. When we did the survey, we had some Arab Jews answer too. So there are some Moroccan Jews that I know. There's obviously the Arab Christians, the Arab Muslims, and there's also like the Arab Druze in Cleveland. So we're big. We've just come from so many denominations that it's just been harder to sort of get it all under one Arab umbrella.
Right.
And that's been my struggle because I'm very like Arab, and that gets me into like some issues with some of my Kurdish brothers and sisters. Like it's in my last name, I'm also Kurdish.
Right.
But I'm 75% Arab from Bilad al-Sham, and my Kurdish grandfather was also born in an Arab country in Syria. So it's been an issue too, which is like, how do we define Arab, and like how do we bring people under that Arab umbrella when some people are like often choosing to be recognized as Phoenician, or
Right.
and then my grandmother's Lebanese. One of them is Lebanese, so like I'm part Phoenician too, Saba, and and or my Somalian brothers and sisters who don't wish to identify as Arabs, but Somalia is part of the Arab League.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope I
22
answered your
countries.
question. Yeah, 22
Yeah,
countries.
22 countries, and you know, when you ask most people like name the 22, they usually, most people stop at about six or
100%. Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm like, all right, so what about the other 2/3 of what's missing? And that leads me to a question that I have for you, because as a community organizer, and mashallah, a lot of the work that you do really trying to advocate around Arab heritage and what it means. My question for you is this. I know you've done a lot of work on both sides, don't get me wrong, but I know a lot of the public facing work that I've seen you do, whether it be online or otherwise, a lot of work that you've done with trying to get, you know, the city of Cleveland, you know, the state of Ohio, others to kind of see Arab and acknowledge their existence and how they are dependent on these individuals keeping things moving within their communities. And I'm sure part of the reason for the survey was not just so we can go, oh, mashallah, great job, everybody. You know, it's also to tell them there's 70,000 of your constituents you need to start talking to.
100%.
But do you feel like Arab are spending enough time learning Arab?
No. And that's a weapon of the colonizer.
Right.
Because their society and the political climate, and then the leaders of this system that we live in, they do such a good job at creating these situations that will consume us. So we're not spending enough time learning about who we are, and then they give us the space to dwell on the differences rather than the similarities. And I think in my case I'm a little different, because like 4 of my grandparents, all 4 of them have been born in like 4 different countries. So I sort of come in with this blend, and I understand what Arab means, and I understand the importance of learning Arab. But when you look at the new generation today, which they're doing such a good job, they're trying. But but you look at their parents, I mean, we're just like trying to, like, they were trying to survive. I'm like, there's no time to learn what Arab means. Like I'm trying to pay the bills. I have families to support overseas. 9/11 happened, and I'm like, God, like you don't even have to be Arab. You just have to look it, and then you're gonna like be in trouble and under like that eye that like you don't even belong here. So it takes extra effort, intentional effort, in my opinion. Like you have to make an intentional, meaningful effort to learn about what it means to be Arabi, what it means to understand the language and speak this beautiful language, what it means to understand the history of the Arab world. And I call it, and I'm very intentional about calling it the Arab world, because it's not MENA. Maybe Swana is a better term geographically, but for me, it is the Arab world. Arab is an identity that I wholeheartedly believe in. And I understand why some people might be afraid of choosing to identify as Arab, or they might worry that it might take away from another identity that they might resonate in. But I am Arabi, but I also acknowledge that I'm Kurdish. I acknowledge that I'm Arabi from Bilad al-Sham, but I'm Arabi. The language I speak is Arabi. The language I read in is Arabi. I'm happen to be Muslim, so when I pray in Arabi. The Quran that I read is in Arabi. So why would I not choose to be Arabi? Even the Arab Christians, like when they worship, when you go to church overseas, it's in Arabi. Like the prayers are in Arabi. Taratil, like the I don't know what taratil is in English. Like the songs you sing in church are in Arabi. So I think it just needs, like I said, the intentional effort to learn, because they want to take that away.
Yeah.
And the biggest message that you should learn what it means to be Arab is that when on Flag Day in Israel, they don't say death to Palestinians. They don't say death to Jordanians. They don't say death to a denomination. They say death to Arab. So like they've grouped us as that group. So maybe we do need to group as that group and just like come back stronger to like fight that rhetoric.
Yeah, you make a lot of great points, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I started the Arab is Me podcast, because this has always been like it's always been my identity, but like I shared with people that Arab is me when they check me on the grammar and they're like, Arab is me, that's not really. I'm like, listen, I was a kid when I said it, and people ask me like legit, like, what's an Arab? There were no Arabs anywhere near. There was parts of the town that I lived in that was so racist that there was about 4 African American families that lived on a single street, and it was the only street that had African Americans. People called it Black Street.
Oh God.
That's how like next level kind of racist undertones exist. That's not even an undertone. That's like right out of your face. But like people need to learn. There's so many things. Like I tell them, I'm like, you know exactly 17 spots to get a knafa in Dearborn, but you didn't go to the Arab American Museum. Like what's going on? And you learn things. Like as an example, this is a story you may already know, but did the movie Titanic? I never knew this, by the way. The movie Titanic left us out, and I don't know if you actually know what big part we actually played, what Arab played within the actual Titanic itself, the sailing of the Titanic. First of all, there were almost 200 Arab on the ship.
Oh wow!
When it went down. People don't know. Close to 30 people were survivors of the Titanic that were Arab. And here's the craziest part. You're going to be blown away by this. The number one scene in the movie that people feel drew the 2 main characters, Jack and Rose, Leonardo, I forget what her name is,
Rose,
together.
Kate
Winslet, yeah. When she decided she was going to go meet him, and they met each other, and they went to this party and they were dancing around. Did you know that as the story is told, that party was actually a Lebanese wedding? Did you know that? You see, it's crazy. When I was going and touring the National Arab American Museum there, I was like, hold on. You just changed my whole perspective on that. What do you mean? And they said, yeah, that's what the story is told, that there were a Lebanese family and they wanted to do iftar, whether it was Ket al-Ktab or whether it was an engagement party, but it was a party around the marriage of 2 of their two individuals that were Arab, and they decided to have the party on the ship. And when they break into the party, they make it look like it's just a bunch of drunkards that were just having a party, but it wasn't. It was Arab that were having their wedding party, and they crashed the party, and it was Arab that just started dancing with them and acting like they were part of their family. So when you're watching the movie going, they just dropped in and suddenly they're friends with everybody. These people must have been so friendly to greet them. For Arab, that's crazy to me.
Titanic is one of my favorite movies. It's to the point that on my 8th birthday, my birthday cake was a Titanic ship.
Wow.
I can never watch the movie the same though.
Right. Exactly. I used to make jokes. One of my first jokes I used to tell on stage was about the Titanic movie, where I basically said, you know, Arab are so late that when my friend told me he went and saw the movie, he said he hated it. And I said, why did you hate it? And he goes, the movie starts and the boat is hake up in the air, hake on nas am biwa. And I was like, Habibi, you sure you got there on time? He goes, yeah, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, yeah. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you got there halfway through the movie. The boat should not have been sinking when you got when the movie started. He's like, "Hey, I got there 5 minutes late," and so I turned it into like a whole joke and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, all these years I made that joke, and I never knew that like there were Arab on the ship.
Yeah, there was a Arabi there. I'm mind blown. But I'm not surprised. Like, I'm mind blown, but I'm not surprised. Because that's who we are. Because like, we are everywhere. Like, it's no matter how many people attempt to erase. Like, even you, whoever's listening, as you're plotting and calculating and adding numbers of how many weapons you need to kill our people, the numbers you're using, we made. So like, it's just, we're there. Like, regardless, we're there, and we've existed, and you can never take that away.
And we are going to continue building coffee shops until you guys
absolutely, and cardamom for everyone.
I was joking with somebody the other day, like Dearborn now like has probably maybe 3 coffee shops per capita.
Probably.
So, but keep going, Dearborn. We're here for it, mashallah.
We're copying them in Cleveland, to be honest. It's kind of,
I hope
happening.
That way we can get rid of the ones that have questionable investments or what they do with their money. We can instead invest back in our own people, inshallah.
100%.
Yeah. So I just told you kind of a little bit of a story, but I know you're very big into storytelling. So I want to know, was that inherited? Was that something that you're coming from a line of storytellers? And then maybe if you can bless us with maybe one example or one story that has stuck with you about being Arabi, and give us some insight on where this love for storytelling kind of was born.
I think I've mentioned, so I'm a product of displacement. So displacement, a lot of stories. On my dad's side, my grandfather is a Kurdish man born in Syria. And then my grandmother is a Lebanese woman born in south of Lebanon. My grandparents actually met in Gaza. And I'm going to get back to that story later. But they met in Gaza, got married in Gaza, then moved to Jerusalem, then to Jordan. On my mom's side, my grandfather is Jordanian from the north of Jordan, Ajloun. And then my grandmother is Palestinian from Safad, forced out in 48, went to Syria for 2 years, then to Jordan. So I'm basically the real Saint Levant, but the better looking version. I love Marwan. Respect to him. So I was born with these stories. The travel that my ancestors have had to make on the Kurdish side, escaping Ottoman massacres and having to end up in Syria. On my grandmother's side, I mean, she was only 16 and carrying her 2-year-old brother, having to leave to Syria and then ending up in Jordan. But my grandmother is probably the most prominent figure in my life. Her way of life was a story in itself. Because she was so resilient and so elegant and so eloquent, an educator for 40 years in UNRWA schools in Jordan, the best cook, and every dish was a story to tell. But also, she was this person that I could never get bored from sitting with. And as children, we wanted to go out and play and like be out bilhara, and like that wasn't me as a child. I was literally the child drinking coffee with my teta, reading through newspapers and magazines, and then watching an old Egyptian black and white movie, and then her telling me about the first time she saw the film, and then talking to me about these actors and actresses, and then going back to describe like Haifa and Yafa and Akka and her home in Safad and the time she used to spend in Jerusalem, and stories from like her students in class, and she's taken me with her to class before. So I think I inherited a lot of that from my grandmother, who inherited this from her father, who was a poet and an attorney and an educator in Safad. So I'm very grateful for that. But I think my favorite story of all of this is I, obviously, as an Arab and a product of divorce of an Arab parents, sometimes separation and disconnect happens in Arab families because of that, because, emotions get high. So I was sort of disconnected from my dad's family. So I didn't know much about my dad's family and the history of my grandfather and my grandmother. I reconnected with my aunt at my cousin's wedding a couple years ago, and the genocide has made me more interested in learning about my background, because I'm like, how am I going to talk and respond to people if I don't know my history, if
Sure.
I don't know where I come from? So I sat with my amto and I'm just like, tell me what you know, like tell me as much as you know. And then so I found out, so my grandfather, my dad's dad, obviously born in Syria, his his father died young, so he was raised by his sister. His mother had left him and remarried, and left him when he was about 3 or 4.
Wow.
So my grandfather didn't know his mother. My grandfather grew up and he worked as a driver of service, the cars that travel between countries. There were no borders. So one time he had a load to drive from Syria to Gaza.
Wow.
Who ends up in the car with him after conversations? His mom, his stepdad, and his half siblings. So after a conversation, he found out that this was actually his mom. He decides to stay with them in Gaza.
Wow.
His stepdad gets sick, so he goes into a hospital in Gaza. Who's the nurse in training with the Baptist? I think it was a Baptist church nunnery or something. My Lebanese grandmother, who had left the south of Lebanon to become a nurse in training. And my grandfather met my grandmother in the hospital, and they fell in love and they got married in Gaza. I didn't even know that I was connected to Gaza like that. It kind of
Wow.
changed my life. And they got married in Gaza and then lived in Jerusalem. My oldest 2 aunts were born in Jerusalem. I didn't even know this information. And came to Jordan in 1950.
Wow.
So 2 years into the Nakba.
Yeah.
So I think that's my favorite story, because it's just I'm still processing what it means to be me. Like, Arab is me. Yes, I feel it.
Yeah.
And being me, it's just, there's just a lot of weight. Like, there's just a lot of generational weight and traumas of that displacement and love and responsibility that, like, I stand on the shoulders of my family, my ancestors, but also they're only ones of many that have similar experiences.
Yeah. And a lesson for everybody who is listening and watching right now: if you have not, we live in different technology now. You don't even have to be the one who writes everything down. If you have not put your cell phone camera on your parent, your grandparent, your aunt, your uncle, and just let them talk through their life and just kept that like a time capsule, you are doing yourself you're actually being selfish, in my opinion, because it's not just about you watching it back. It's about your kids, your family, others watching it back. And every time my parents discuss something, I go, wait. So-and-so was like, there's always a new wrinkle. There's always a new page, if you will. And I find that to be amazing. And obviously, my profession, storytelling, is a big deal. And I pride myself on, when I get onto the stage, sometimes people say, Saeed, oh, you're a comedian? I say, yeah, I work very hard at that. And they say, oh, well, I haven't seen a lot of your videos. I was like, yeah, I worked very hard at that too. I don't feel the need for people to not experience the show and just watch a quick clip and click like on it. Like, I want people to feel like when they came out to the show, they experienced something that they couldn't have just seen online, and that you're hearing real stories. I know we're getting later in the podcast, but the later we get, the better it gets. So we're gonna pour out some shay and some coffee real quick as we get towards this latter part. By the way, did you tell me this already? Are you more of a tea or a coffee guy?
Definitely coffee.
Okay, all right.
Shy, I have not had proper shy since my grandmother died.
Wow.
She was the queen of. It doesn't even It doesn't even taste the same. So I kind of refuse it.
Don't you feel, side question here? Don't you feel offended by Keurig when I see people have these Keurig makers and they're like, you can make shy in it, and I was like, shut your mouth. Like,
that's
shut
disrespectful.
Mouths. I can't believe you think that this little cup is gonna make me shy. Nah, like my grandmother.
No, that's disrespectful.
It is disrespectful. It's literally people are looking to automate everything. I was like, I don't automate my culture. And if you bring me the canned hummus where it's already made and say, no. Just get stupid chickpeas and spend some time in your kitchen for once.
100%.
Yeah,
and that's one thing I do want to add just a little bit with what you just do. Spend time in the kitchen. I am just recently learning how to cook.
Yeah,
and I feel like it kind of brought me closer to my Arab identity. And it's not, for me, it's not even about how it's going to taste, but just attempting to replicate some of the recipes I know from my mom and my grandmother have solidified my Arab experience as well. So if you're Arab in the diaspora, or if you're like me living alone, like I live alone, my mom is in Jordan, my stepmom is in Vegas. And so get in the kitchen. It will change your life.
Yeah, or learn about the things that you've been taking for granted. For example, just sometimes I even get emotional thinking of these old men and women in Palestine that used to filter out the zayt zatoun with their arthritic hands. Just to put it into a jar that you then drench all over whatever you're like. I used to watch my grandmother, Allah yarhamha, in Gaza, itluf wara, and by the time she was done, again, she had severe arthritis in her hand, and she actually was so kind of she had blindness, and when somebody helped her clean her kitchen, they moved things around, and she actually struggled with cooking for a couple of weeks because she had memorized where everything was in the kitchen according to feel. And to watch her lufwara or to make shushbarak, like I started as a kid, I would just raise this single grape leaf in the air and go, wow. But what now? You take me to a restaurant, but like no problem. Like just hey,
they have the machine.
Yeah. Come on, it's crazy. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your novel. You're writing a novel, but also I want to wrap. If we can take the wara metaphor, I want to wrap it with something too. You strike me as somebody who likes to kind of put things out in the world and kind of speak to the world. But you also strike me as somebody who may feel at times very vulnerable in doing so. And like I'm putting this poem out, or I'm like just to show you how deep I go. You were doing an interview where you were talking about after your father had passed, Allah yarhamu, and there was like this opening of a show, a production. I believe, if I'm correct, it was about 31 days after your father had passed.
31, yeah.
And you were thinking to yourself, what would people say if they see me there? And you wrote a poem and you dedicated a poem to him. So when I hear things like that, that means I'm dealing with thinkers, people who are very perceptive and cognizant of what's happening around them. So tell me a little bit about the novel, but also tell me, like, does it enter a place of anxiety when you produce something like that and want to put it out, or is it your release? where it's like, no, I did this for me, no like, purchase, no purchase, doesn't matter to me. I'm fine.
It's a mix of both.
Okay.
So my first two poetry collections, I definitely did them for me. I don't even know how many people bought the books, but I know that whoever got them or asked me for a copy and have read them, that gave me the satisfaction that I'm looking for. And I think it's always quality over quantity. And I'm gonna use this to sort of build on, but as a child, I had this recurring nightmare of me going to school barefoot and then everyone laughing at me. As I started my therapy journey and I told this dream to my therapist, I'm like, it's that fear of being vulnerable or like being exposed. And I fight that with being authentically myself and being honest about my experiences. But sometimes it does get hard because society isn't always fair and people's experiences are not always the same. And we don't all have the same level of emotional awareness or same level of empathy or understanding. And I'm not blaming people for that because, again, we're products of our experiences,
Sure.
our environments. And the novel is a prime example of that because I am afraid of actually publishing it. I'm 18,000 words in. I have a lot to go, but
Right.
I've had this block because I am worried about what that story is going to do and whether I should even publish it in my name or not. Because I am really diving deep into the Arab American immigrant experience in that book.
Sure.
And when I say diving deep, I'm like literally talking about everything. And I've modeled the characters in the book from stories of people that I know. Some are family members. And because I wanted it to be real.
Of course.
Which and I wanted it, and these are people that I've come across, people that I've talked to. Some are friends, some are family members, and I know that when they read, they're gonna probably know, oh, like this is actually about me. But I also do know that if the outside, like people outside this bubble that I've created the story around, will also resonate because I know these stories do exist. The novel is, and I'm not gonna go deep into what the characters are, but the novel it talks about 3 immigrations, and the first one is the immigration from the Arab world to here, and then the second immigration is the immigration to the grave. And the third immigration is the family's immigration back to their roots after losing the anchor of the family, and then everything within. And it's a very real, raw, authentic story. And yeah, I'm getting anxious just thinking about it. But I go back and I outline my chapters every once in a while. I think it's gonna take a minute because also these stories don't end.
Right.
So like I've been writing this novel with like 18,000 words. This is what I've completed in 10 years.
Wow. A life's work.
It's very heavy.
Yeah.
To write. This story for me is very heavy. And it changes. Like for a year I only had the cover page which just said the immigration, and then when my dad died I was like, oh, I should talk about what happens when an anchor of the family dies,
Right.
and then it became the second immigration. And then as I developed the story, I was like, wow, like like whatever is happening with this family, that almost feels like an entire third immigration, because immigrating isn't just necessarily packing a bag and traveling across continents. I feel like a lot of us as humans, we go through a lot of immigrations within our emotions, with the loss, with the grief, with leaving a job behind, or ending a friendship, or a divorce, or even just a separation. Sometimes if a mother sends off a child to college, like all of these emotions are like kind of, they're embodied in just the idea of what immigration is, in my opinion.
Right.
Because I refuse to define and look at immigration according to what this current administration wants to define it for me. I think immigration is something very beautiful and very powerful and very strong, and one of the toughest decisions a human could make. And I'm trying to honor that in my book.
Sure. I will tell you, sometimes the necessary evil of authenticity is receipts. You have to sometimes kind of provide those receipts, and yeah, some people may pick those up and say, I'm on here, like this is really. But at the same time, there's been, think of all the amazing stories you've heard from your family in your life. At some point, somebody asked themselves in their mind, should I even share this? And so I encourage you to continue kind of sharing that and putting that out there. And I know it can be a vulnerable place, but we're looking forward to seeing it when it is, I don't want to say when it's complete, but when you put it out, because as you said, the stories don't end. So maybe the completion is novel number 2 or whatever it may be.
I do have a book coming out. Like, I'm done with my 3rd poetry collection. So
okay. Is that something
I'm
that
developing?
I was just going to say, is that something that people can go on to omarkurdi.net to get more information on, or where do you suggest they go?
Yes, so on my website, they can find links to my music. They can find links to like previous interviews I've done, or like commentaries, and they can find links to purchase my first 2 books.
Yeah.
This third book is sort of my memoir through poetry. And I am now sort of developing this whole artistic project. I'm really diving into my creative side right now. So like, I'm really, I'm trying to tie this book with a song that I'm writing and working on right now, and a clothing line.
Okay.
Because I love.
Because why not?
Fashion.
Omar is bored. He has nothing to do. Is why not? So when I bring you back on the podcast later, the bio will get longer. Because why not? Sure.
I was talking to my music producer about this. The only thing left is dancing. That's alhamdulillah, I know there's always room to do a lot, but like I feel like the only thing I haven't done yet is dancing, inshallah. So I'm coming there.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you, again, just because we're friends, just between you and I, taban, no one else is listening.
Of course.
I noticed that even in the recent video for the that we were talking about for Jordanian soccer for the World Cup, I noticed even a couple dancing parts for you, mashallah, where you started to kind of give people just luqma, just little appetizer, just half a hez or 2, mashallah. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. The clothing line also, I kind of cut you off there because it's what I do sometimes. Sorry. But what's the story behind the clothing line? Like, what's the inspiration there?
So I love fashion, and I've loved it throughout my life. And I think for me, what I wear has a meaning. And even when I was bigger, and I've always been intentional about what I wear, the colors that I wear. Like, I dress up based on my mood and how I'm feeling and my vibe, not necessarily how much a thing is worth or the brand or etc. So like in my closet, you'll find everything from like designer to $3 shirts from a thrift store.
Oh wow.
And for me, I feel like as I'm like telling and inviting people into my space as an artist, I also want to invite them to a very sacred place in my experience as Omar, which is fashion and clothes. And the line that I want to design is going to resemble my experience and my upbringing from being a child to where I am today. It's I'm not gonna say the name because I haven't trademarked anything yet, but
Sure.
it's gonna be very personal. Streetwear because I'm enjoying urban chic streetwear right now.
Yeah.
Something comfortable, something men and women could wear, but also they could feel proud wearing it. That it speaks of their story as well, and it speaks of their experience as being Arabs in the diaspora. So I was
Okay.
at a fashion show uh, 3 weeks ago, and I was watching all these designers with their designs in Cleveland. We do cool stuff in Cleveland, and I spoke to my friend, who is a Pakistani Muslim woman, by the way,
Yeah.
implant from Canada, and she started
Wow.
this biggest fashion event in Cleveland. So very proud of her. Anyway, I looked at her. I was like, next year, my designs are going to be walking this line.
Yeah.
And it just happened in that moment. And then I went home and I stayed up till 2 in the morning, outlining what I want things to look like. And I'm just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Well, we're gonna stay tuned on that, and and I know there we would need several shows to go over a lot of the mashallah accomplishments you have. And even though I like have made that kind of a running joke of this podcast, I always encourage people to, like, if they think of something, to do that something and don't hesitate, because I always think, and I always butchered this line, so I don't want to necessarily direct quote Banksy, but I remember he had this painting that he did, and it said, "They say that humans die twice. One when they actually die, but the second time is when people stop saying their name." And I'm a big believer in that. And so, inshallah, all the things that you're doing are just going to continue to kind of build your legacy, to where people always want to say your name. And I always say this, and I know you're going to title your clothing line and all that stuff. You're going to release that to us at a later date. But for those that are doing these things, don't hesitate to also use your name in what you're doing.
mhm,
Sometimes we want to create these different projects and things, and we're afraid, oh, I don't want to have the shayf halo have the listen. There's so many designers out there and so many people doing amazing work literally by their name, and you never forget to say it. So, like,
mhm,
don't be afraid to the Fatimas out there for it to be Fatima wear. Don't be afraid to kind of use your name, because there's a meaning behind your name.
100%.
And I guess one of the last things I wanted to ask before we kind of get Lalbab,
Mm,
and because I know you have a lot going on, mashallah, but I wanted to ask you just on the legacy piece.
mm,
You're obviously you're doing a lot of amazing work, and you've done a lot to kind of, from an artist standpoint,
mhm,
and I'm not saying that these two don't overlap, but
mm,
you've done a lot of things from an artist standpoint, and you've done a lot from, like, a community organizing, if I can call it that, standpoint,
mm,
and a lot of work. We didn't even get into your day job, and all the tremendous work that you're doing there. But from a legacy standpoint, is it important to you to be remembered as the community organizer who happened to be an artist, or artist who happened to be community organizer? Like, which of those two titles would you choose, if any, or is that not something you think about?
I just want to be remembered as a human who dared to dream and chase his dreams. I don't care about the titles. I organize in my community not because I wanted to be called a community organizer. It's because I
Yeah.
saw a need. I'm an artist because I have this fire inside me that wants to express itself through creative forms of expression. I help adults with disabilities in my day job because my stepbrother is autistic, and I feel their unconditional love when I'm out there supporting them and supporting my incredible team as they support them as well. Um, some parts of me at some point in my life were probably um, looking to get busy with these things because we were like that Omar was running away from the traumas of his experience, the divorce, that all of that. But I realized that I don't need to overachieve or like in order to be sufficient or to be valid to those to the people around me, to my family, etc. I just needed to be me. So my legacy, and like I'm getting emotional thinking about it because my legacy will be is if I know just one person, like if I was able to just help one chase after a dream that someone told them that they can't do. I'm 35. No one gets into music and professional music. It's rare, let's say not no one, but it's rare, especially within our culture. No one just decides to go do that at 34, but I did because who's gonna stop me, and who's gonna stop you? And screw the box. Like we were not born. God did not create us to fit a mold or to fit a box. And I just want people to really get out of these societal boxes that we've been confined to, whether by the colonizers or whether by our own people. Sometimes you're not meant to be understood, because once you understand yourself, it's going to become easier for people to understand you. And a lot of people are afraid to take that journey within themselves. Yeah, I was scared, but it was literally the genocide that got me my first panic attack in like 12 years, which got me into therapy. And here I am almost 3 years in therapy. This is the best I've ever known myself. And that's why I've been able to do all of the things that I'm doing, because I dared to dive deep within myself and who is Omar, and what does Omar want to put out there to the people, and what Omar's legacy is going to be. And when my therapist asked me that question before you did, I literally just told her, like, I just want to be known as a dreamer who dared to dream. And because sometimes not all dreams come true, but for me, it's about the journey. Because sometimes, since we're getting to the bab, sometimes not every door is meant to be open. Sometimes
Right.
sometimes God is so great, like God is so merciful that we'll have the crack open and you're going to see that whatever is inside that door is not for you. And
Right.
you're going to go into the next door. And if you have a lot of changes in your life, take it as a gift, because how many people could say that they got multiple opportunities at a new life, at a new experience? Some people live just one basic, simple life. And I'd rather have the full plate rather than an empty one.
Mashallah. Yeah, well, for somebody who has spent a lot of their life making sure others are seen, I just want to let you know, Amar, we see you.
Thank you.
And for those that want to see you even more, please make sure you look up Omar on IG. It's Omar Kurdi official, OmarKurdi official, and then the website where you can connect with him in many different ways is his name, omarkurdi.net. You also, of course, can go. You'll find his YouTube there as well. But if you're a YouTube person, you're watching this right now, after you like and subscribe for the podcast, of course, go ahead and log on to youtube.com/Kurdi Music Official, so you can make sure you check him out. And so, speaking of other people, we're now at the Al-Bab portion, which is kind of our rapid fire, some fun questions that will gauge Arabness in all of our guests. And so, as part of the Al-Bab portion, which many of you know, if you've ever left an Arab household, Al-Bab is where you start the last hour of your visit. It's usually not just running out if you do a tayyib or haram. So, with that being said, we attach a organization to this, because if for any reason Omar gets kind of nervous and has no answer or says I can't answer that, which could happen on the very first question, I have a feeling, then we would ask Omar, he's got to make a donation to an organization of his choice. And if he gets through all the questions and he doesn't, I will donate on behalf of the Arab is Me podcast to organization of his choice. So we'll see who wins that. But Omar has chosen Heal Palestine as his preferred organization for this Al-Bab portion of the Arab is Me podcast. Omar, Heal Palestine. Why'd you pick that?
Their work supporting children, survivors of the genocide in Gaza is tremendous. I spent 2 days at the Heal summer camp last year, and working and singing to these children changed my life. And I just hope that I'm able to always contribute to the work Heal Palestine is doing. And Heal is an incredible organization, one of many, but they presented me with a lifetime opportunity, actually hanging out with the best children I've ever met.
Mashallah. All right. Well, you all can definitely look up Heal Palestine. None of these things are sponsored here, nor should they be.
Mm-hmm.
You should just be doing this on your own. So look up Heal Palestine. They're doing, mashallah, some tremendous work. So Omar, I got my list. Are you ready?
Allah yustart, yalla.
Okay. All right. Yalla. So let's see. So for this first question, that's going to be very extra special for you, I would imagine, given your background. I'm going to mention two people, one of which you have to just delete anything that they've worked on, anything they've created from history, and the other one you keep. So imagine a civilization comes thousands of years from now, and they say they need to hear one of these people, and the other you're eliminating. So who are you eliminating between Kulthum or Fairuz?
Wallahi حسيت. I looked at the picture here.
Are you donating already?
بدك تخرب بيتي. I'll donate. I can't.
You can't pick.
I can't.
Well, I'm actually kind of glad you couldn't pick, because Kulthum hasn't been getting a lot of love on this podcast with people picking. Like, it's an excruciating pain that they're going through, but most people are going to Fairuz, and I think people need to look up Kulthum a little bit more.
It's Arabs in the diaspora specifically don't appreciate Kulthum enough.
They don't enough, and I think part of the reason why is because somebody like me growing up, I burned CDs, and Kulthum would have 2 songs per CD, because 25 minutes before the band is done, and then you hear the ovation. But look up Kulthum. All right, so Omar, some fun stuff here. If you are going to a friend's wedding, but you have to travel very far distance, does it change your gift amount? Be honest.
No,
I've
done it before.
Until you're too nice, and I cut in half for every 500 miles I go. No, mashallah. All right, cool. So if you have a friend, this is a real question here. If you have a friend who is now on their 3rd, 4th, 5th marriage, gift or no gift? Do you keep giving gifts no matter how many times they're married?
Depends how much I love that friend.
Okay. All right. So if they're at moderate to low amount of love,
يعني ببلش $100 gift. I'm not gonna give them a bigger gift.
Okay.
But if it's someone that I love dearly, then the gift is gonna fluctuate.
So if you don't really love them all that much and they get to a 5th wedding, khalas, you charge them.
Probably
based on the algorithm. Okay.
Or I might just probably reevaluate that entire friendship at some point.
All right. So again, on the topic of wedding here, if you were to go to any wedding, doesn't matter whose wedding it is, are you the kind that you're going to dance at any wedding, it doesn't matter who it is, or are you going to be watching from a distance?
I only go to weddings of people that I intend to invite to mine, so that's one. Okay. So because these are the weddings that I go to, I'll be dancing and having a good time. Now, I've had to go to weddings where sort of like filling in for my dad at some point, whatever. I'll be the more observant, like, حبيبي السلام عليكم. بالك. I don't want to hear that word, so.
All right. Okay. So, true or false?
أيوة.
Marriage should be about who you love, even if your parents and family hate them.
False.
It has to be false. Like, I'm sorry to all the Arab who keep telling me it's about me and them and our relationship. My parents will just have to until you're living in a dream world. Okay.
Not in
All
our
right.
society, no.
All right. Is hummus a
أيوة.
meal? Watch how you answer this, by the way. Is hummus a meal, a dip, or a side?
Wallahi, I grew up in our house. It was a meal.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. People think I'm crazy when I tell them meal. We've had guests who said, you can't just have just hummus. And I was like, well, you haven't had good hummus. I'm sorry.
لا حمص ونص.
Yeah, I don't know min rabbahum and all that. But, anyway, khair. What is your favorite dialect in the Arab world?
It has to be Egyptian.
Egyptian? Okay.
Mm.
That makes sense. And also with the some of the music background you have, like a lot of it's heavy Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
I can just hear you saying, okay. All right. Favorite hot drink in the Arab world?
القهوة. It's the قهوة السادة that we drink بالعزا. It's القهوة العربية يعني.
It's the only coffee. I don't actually drink any coffee, but I tell people I only drink socially at Asas.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the only time. Like, I just feel bad saying that. They just lost their family who come in. I'm telling them their coffee's no good. So all right. So a related question, then a connector question. Let's just say you are sitting down and you have your favorite Arab drink, your favorite hot drink. Maybe your favorite Arab drink is orange soda. I don't know. Where, if you were to be able to sit down with anybody from Arab history, and you can remove the religious folks now because that would be too easy, but anyone from Arab history, alive or past, where are you going to be sitting, and who is that person you're sitting with?
So one person?
One person. You get to sit and have a nice conversation with them.
Wow.
Could be family or someone you've never met.
Family will also be an easy, because obviously the food, but no, it's gonna be Kulthum, and the reason why, I just watched the movie that they made, A Sit.
Okay.
And I'm just very, like, you're talking about a woman that was as powerful as these politicians. 4 million people came out in her funeral. I was just like, what was your secret? Like, I would love to speak to her.
Yeah, mashallah. That's a good one, and it ties into that first question. A lot of people don't understand Kulthum, but they know everything about the Diddy trial, mashallah. All right. So the next question is, you show your brand new car off to a friend, and 5 minutes after you leave, the tire goes flat. Is this a coincidence or is this hasad?
لا يلعن عينه.
If there's one consensus of all the guests we've had, not one person has said, wow, that's weird. No, they've all been like, Allah yakhrib bayt. Somebody even said they didn't say mashallah and had expletives and stuff like that. So all right, cool. What do you think is the most overrated Arab food?
Nothing. Good. No,
I agree. What's the most underrated?
It's a dish that not a lot of people know, because it's a very Jordanian northern dish. It's called chachil. It's like a dough made with lentils and eggs, and then it's dropped with like this laban yogurt sauce. So good. So if you want to look it up, it's called chachil. In Fallahi, in Arabic, it's kakil.
Kakil or chachil. Okay.
Yeah, so good.
All right. So if your doctor told you, and you may have already implemented some of these, but if your doctor had told you, I'm sorry, Omar, you're going to have to stop either rice or bread, Which one is the easier one to drop from your diet?
هلا الحمد لله باكل شلتنا. I don't eat both after my
That's why I thought you
surgery.
maybe the exception.
Yeah,
to the rule.
but back in the day, I could drop. I think I could drop rice. I think khubz is very important to me as an Arab.
I tell all the guests أنا غزاوي, so like ناكل خبز with خبز.
بدنا نغمس.
Yeah, for sure. So we definitely. So this last question that I have for you here, is gonna have to. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to give out a secret here. That's gonna tell people a little bit about you. If you are running an hour late for a dinner, let's say, and you look at your GPS and it says 1 hour, and your friend that you're meeting texts you and says, Amar, wenak, how far are you? What's your response?
I'll be honest, but usually I'm not late ever. Like people, if I'm 5 minutes late, people will be like, "Inta malak ishi?" Yeah, I'm always 15 minutes early to everything.
So if you were running late, you're gonna tell them the exact amount?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, لأنه عادي خلي الواحد يستناني. I don't like waiting for people, so I won't subject someone to that experience as well.
See, guys, these artist types and these poets and these singers, they're too honest. You are the first guest on the Arab Is Me podcast that said I would tell them the truth. But it's not kizib. That nobody has actually said it's kizib. Everybody has said honest, 20-30 minutes, it's no big deal. And I'm like, but it's not honest. They said no, it's
if someone does this to me, I will question our relationship. So I will never do that to someone else.
All right, well, you made it through the al-bab portion, which means now
it's a salam, bye, bye.
So please, everybody, make sure two things. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Arab Is Me podcast. We were honored to have Omar Kurdi on today's podcast. Make sure, again, omarkurdi.net. You get all of the information there. All of the socials will be there, or you can just go onto Omar Kurdi official on his Instagram. Go check out his music and his music video. Literally, we were saying over 1 million views in 2 weeks. Watching that video. So make sure you go check it out. Make sure you follow Omar and all of his tremendous work, so we can hear about the novel and hear about the clothing line. And hear about the community activism that he's doing, and we can go on and on, mashallah. So thank you, Omar, for being a part of today's show, and we hope we hear and see more about you. And again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Tune in to the next Arab Is Me podcast. We appreciate everybody being here. Yalla. Thank you, Omar. Salamat to everybody.
Salam.